Herman Webster Mudgett, better known as America's first serial killer, got his unlawful start as a swindler and bigamist. Occasionally referred to as the Beast of Chicago, Mudgett created what the world now knows as the Murder Castle. During the time of the Columbian Exposition, hiding under the alias H. Holmes, Mudgett trapped and murdered somewhere between 20 and 200 innocent victims.
H. Holmes was born in Gilmanton, New Hampshire, on May 16, 1861. Holmes, who was born into a wealthy family, had a privileged childhood and was believed to be extremely brilliant from a young age. Even yet, there were ominous foreshadowings of what was to come. As a child, Holmes displayed an interest in medicine, which led him to do surgery on animals, according to reports. Some even say that he might be responsible for the death of one of his close friends. Holmes' criminal career began with a series of deceptions. He was known to have stolen bodies and used them to make false insurance claims while a medical student at the University of Michigan. It's possible that Holmes utilized the bodies for experiments as well.
Holmes later relocated to Chicago, Illinois, in 1885. Using his now famous alias, Dr. Henry H. Holmes, he quickly found work in a pharmacy. He eventually took over the company and was later accused of murdering the owner. Once taking over the company, Holmes then had a 3-story building built nearby to serve as his house of horrors. His living quarters was on the top floor, as were many small rooms where he tortured and executed his victims. He could also carry the victims down to the basement via trapdoors and chutes, where he could burn the bodies in a kiln or dispose of them in various ways. During the 1893 Columbian Exposition, Holmes made his home available to visitors as a hotel. Unfortunately, several people died at the Murder Castle, as it became known. Many of these victims, the exact number is unknown, were women who were deceived, defrauded, and ultimately murdered. Holmes had a pattern of getting engaged to a woman only to have her disappear unexpectedly. Many other victims were enticed by the promise of gainful employment. Soon after the World's Fair, Holmes returned to Chicago to continue his scams, including one with an acquaintance named Benjamin Pittiesel, in which Pittiesel would fake his death in order to receive $10,000 from a life insurance company. Holmes confided in fellow inmate and famed outlaw Marion Hedgepeth, who knew Holmes as H.M. Howard, about the life insurance scam while incarcerated for another fraud. Later, Hedgepeth aided investigators by disclosing specifics of their conversation. Although the authorities eventually identified Howard as Holmes, they did not recognize him in time to prevent his final crimes. After informing Pittiesel's widow that her husband was still alive and hiding, Holmes persuaded her to let him travel with 3 of her 5 children, all of whom became his victims. After eluding capture for several weeks, Holmes was finally caught in November 1894. During his time in custody, he told cops a number of lies, including one in which he admitted to killing 27 people. Holmes was convicted in 1895 and appealed his case, but he lost. The number of people killed by Holmes is estimated to be anything from 20 and 200. On May 7, 1896, Holmes was hung for the murder of Benjamin Pittiesel. He was laid to rest in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.